All right, guys. So I'm starting a little series on this channel where I'm going to talk about certain quotes that I really like and that really resonate with me. And the first one here that I'm going to do today is a quote that goes by, "It's never as good as it seems, and it's never as bad as it seems." Okay? So I'm going to talk about what that means to me and what lessons that maybe you can take out of it as well. And if you have any thoughts or something and you want to drop it in the comments before I start babbling about this topic, then just drop it down below. And then, or you can, drop a comment afterwards. That's fine too. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you agree or disagree, So what I take from this quote, it's never as good as it seems and it's never as bad as it seems. As humans, we like to look at a lot of things as good or bad. It's one or the other. It's usually good or bad. There's not that much in between. Our emotions fluctuate. Like we go up here, then we go down here, and our emotions are fluctuating in a big way. Something's really good, something's really bad. Right? It's just our perception that's changing in that moment. Okay? If we really peel down the layers and understand what's really going on here, it's really just our perception that's changing. Okay? When we see something as really good, we get all excited, like, oh my God, this is amazing, this and that, and we get all, we get our emotions wrapped up in it, and everything just seems incredible. But it's not. Okay? It's not incredible. It's just you're perceiving it and focusing on it at that point. That makes it feel so good. You're just like, oh, this is such a good moment. This is happening and that's happening. And it's really not as good as you think. It's just that you're perceiving things to be a lot better than what they actually are. You're almost like distorting your own mind. And then when something's going bad, you may be sitting thinking like, oh my God, my whole life is over. This is the worst thing that could have happened. This is like, oh, this is absolutely terrible. Like, I can't believe this and that. And now you're perceiving things as if the world is ending. Okay? And it's never as good as when you're up on that hill and you're just like, whoo, this is the best moment of my life. And it's never as bad as when you're in the dumps and you think everything's over. What that is just like your, what I like to call your perception roller coaster. Okay? Your perception roller coaster. And everyone has a perception roller coaster of some sort. Some people's may be more extreme. Some people's can go high and low a lot more than the average human. But whatever it may be, everyone has this perception roller coaster, as I say. And I'd like to, tell you guys a little bit more about this perception roller coaster, so you understand what I'm talking about here. I'm not speaking like a different kind of language. So what I mean by a perception roller coaster is, think about it in your own life. Okay, there might have been like a week, or let's say even 2 weeks that went by, and you're just like, wow, my life is incredible. My life is incredible. Like I've got almost everything I want, maybe everything you want. Like everything is going well, you're so grateful, and like everything is just beautiful, right? And then maybe you saw something on TV, maybe you were watching some news, and everything just starts shifting a little bit. You're like, You're like, I thought my life was just incredible, but I am missing, a significant partner, a significant other that I really have a deep connection with. Maybe I'm missing out on more money that I should have been making. Maybe I can be closer with my friends. You're just like, or you see something that gets a rise out of you, and now all of a sudden you're at the bottom end of this roller coaster, and now you're like, wait a second, my life kind of sucks. This is bad. Some people might go through this phase for weeks, months, years, whatever it may be. We're either thinking of life as way better than it is or way worse than it is. Usually we're never usually on that base level of where everything's actually happening. It's usually we're blowing it way out of proportion like that it's just way better, or we're blowing it way out of proportion that it's just like far worse than imaginable. And the problem with that is that now your emotions are very tied in with what happens, your external circumstances in life. So whatever happens out there that's completely sometimes out of your control is going to control your perception roller coaster. Okay? So everything that's outside of your control is in control of your emotions. So your emotions are going to be up, down, sideways. You have no control over that roller coaster. It's going wherever it wants to go. It'll go off the tracks if it wants to. It'll do whatever it wants. So what's the best way to stay off this crazy perception roller coaster, you might be thinking at this point? How do I stay off this perception roller coaster? How do I stop my emotions from fluctuating left, right, center, down, sideways, everywhere? That you're just like an uncentered emotional wreck at times. And instead you want to be more of a centered kind of unmoving presence, let's call it. And the way to do that is to detach yourself emotionally from these things. Okay? So how does that work? How do I detach emotionally from these things? That's a good question. How do you detach emotionally from some of these things in life that are, either getting you really happy or really sad? This comes with practice. You have to practice this. And I've done this in poker. I'll give you an example of how this works in poker, the emotional perception roller coaster. Let's say I go a day playing poker, and let's say, hypothetically speaking, I won $10,000, okay, in a day. And, a lot of people might be watching this video like, oh shit, I am so happy on those days, like blah, blah, blah. And what I've trained myself to do is if I win $10,000 on a specific day, I don't allow myself to get overly joyed about that or happy about that. It's not even something that should excite you or make you happy in itself. It should be casual. Okay, I won $10,000. That's what happened. Okay? And then let's say you have a day in poker, hypothetically speaking again, that you lost $10,000. And I try to train myself the same way. I lost $10,000, that's what happens. I try not to go so far low with these emotions. And how you can not go so far low with emotions when you lose $10,000 is very specifically tied with not going high with your emotions when you win $10,000. Okay? Because when you are happy when you win the 10,000, when you're happy when you win the 10,000, you're overly joyed, you're excited, you're like, yes, yes. Without realizing it, you are subconsciously tying your emotions to your winnings, to the external successes in life. You're so tied in with it. So naturally, what's going to happen when the negative things happen in your life, or you lose the $10,000, either or, your emotions are going straight down. Because you've already tied your emotions to that. You've already tied your emotions to that. Okay? So now you might be thinking, well, Jack, what's the alternative? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You might be thinking that right now. You're like, I don't get it. Or you might be thinking, you know what, that makes sense. Right? And if you're thinking, I don't really understand it, what you want to do is not tie your emotions to these things. Okay? And how do you not tie your emotions to these things? Because it's way easier said than done. Like I said, it's so much easier to not tie your emotions to the wins in your life, to the successes, to not tie your emotions to be overly high in the successes. That's an easy starting point, because it's way easier to start there than to not feel bad when things are going terribly for you. Okay? So start there. Start with not feeling such highs when everything is going the way you want it to go in your life. Start with that. Okay? where everything's going well, all the successes, everything externally is going well. Try not to tie that ecstatic, euphoric experience of that. And instead, what you want to do is tie that ecstatic, euphoric experience to the process. Okay? So I'll give you one example with poker. The process would be, let's say, for example, you played 8 hours today. Okay? So you played 8 hours of poker today. And you played your A game. You were focusing well, and you played your A game. Win or lose $10,000 on this day. Win 10,000, lose 10,000. You will be ecstatic just focusing on the 8 hours you just played and the focus you had while playing. Okay, so this way, you're setting up yourself to be euphoric, blissful, ecstatic, happy, joyful, based on something that is under your direct control, which is the process. So it's under your direct control to play 8 hours a day. So you're setting yourself up for happiness, whether you win or lose. It doesn't matter. You're happy regardless because you did what was under your control. But if you tie your emotions to something that's not in your control, which is winning or losing in poker, which is some of the things in life that you can't really control, then you're going on this perception roller coaster and you're gonna feel the ups and downs. Everything's gonna seem amazing when it's amazing, and everything's gonna seem terrible when it's terrible. You're gonna be up and down, in a bipolar kind of way with your emotions, and you're gonna be a very difficult human to be around. Okay, people are not gonna appreciate all your ups and downs. Like this guy's, all of a sudden, 1 second this guy's like super mega joyful, then the next second this guy's like pissed off and like angry, and like, it's just, it's not somewhere you really wanna be. Okay, I use poker as a very simple example because I know a lot of people that watch my channel, are obviously on Team 651 or they're poker players. So I use that as a very simple example. But this can tie into all kinds of, other areas of life as well. So always keep this in mind. It's not as good as it seems, and it's not as bad as it seems. It's just always great, okay? Try to keep that about yourself. Try to stay centered in that center, okay? Be centered. Not as good as it seems, and it's not as bad as it seems. Stay in the middle. Be great. Do your best to feel those grateful emotions every day through the process of what you're doing. Things that are in your control. And don't focus as much, or don't tie your emotions with things that are outside of your control. And I promise, with time and practice and training, that you're just gonna feel better on an everyday basis. You're simply just gonna feel better. And when you feel better, you're happier. And when you're happier, just life is just good. And I encourage everyone to try this out and see what happens to you in a month's time, 2 months' time, 6 months' time, 1 year's time when you practice these things. It's never going to be perfect. You're always going to have a perception roller coaster, but some people's might be like this, and then your perception roller coaster might be like this. It's a smoother ride, okay? And you want it to be smooth-ish. It's never going to be completely smooth, but you want to have a smoother ride where you're not just so at the mercy of everything that's out of your control and like your emotions are just all over the place. Okay, so try this out. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any comments or anything like that, drop it down below. Give this video a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'll see you guys in the next video.